What's up, chess player? Welcome to the Journey to Grandmaster, and starting from this video, I'm gonna share with you something truly amazing, the pinnacle of my chess career, the FIDE Awards Chess Team Rapid Championship. I had an opportunity to play against the best players in the world, including Michal Sarin, Fabiano Caruana, Jules Massard, and many others, and I have also scored some pretty good results and played some great games. So today I want to share with you the game against Michal Sarin, the round number 1. I mean, you can imagine it. I'm just coming to the tournament. I'm seeing all of those guys I have previously only seen on TV or on YouTube. And here are they, everybody, like 6 out of 10 best players in the world were there in Düsseldorf. By the way, in Germany was a tournament, and that was such an amazing tournament for me, such an amazing chance to first of all see all of those guys in person, and secondly to play myself against them. That was something I can't express in words. So of course you can enjoy some footage here, and yeah. This game against Michal Sarin is of course truly special because I was better in the game, and yeah, I wasn't that sure. It's round number 1. Of course, I wanted to score a good result, so I was a little bit scared in the end to spoil my position because I felt that is a very good one. So step by step, let's take a look at the game. I have played as white, d4, d5, nothing special so far. And here, move number 4, this position I had so much time in my life, so normal. I mean, you have so many opportunities for black here. Bishop e7, c6, c5, b6, knight d7. All of the moves I know, all of the moves I have played hundreds of times, a6 as well. But Michal Sarin is making a move here that I have never seen before in my life, and I was immediately shocked and had no idea what to do next, namely knight to e4, the move that seems to be unlogical because I mean you haven't developed any of your pieces and you're not just ready for that. I mean, your bishop is not on b4. That seems so weird, but when you're facing it in real game, you haven't analyzed it with the engine, and it's rapid chess, so you don't have a lot of time to dive deep into variations, try to punish it immediately, and it turns out you can't punish it. It was such a big surprise for me. I have never analyzed this move. And so what I did is queen to c2, just going normal, going forward with my development. Knight c3 happened, and I just took it with a queen. I thought, okay, I have good development, I have developed 2 pieces here, I'm fighting for the center. Black hasn't developed any pieces, so it shouldn't be bad for me. And now my young opponent, but already a super grandmaster, Michal Sarin, played here the move a5, just saying, okay, I'm gonna win your queen next move, you can't do anything about it, because a3 seems like a natural response, right? You just block the square, but bishop b4 is still possible, and that is amazing because here a takes b, and now not only the queen is hanging but also the rook on a1, and I could sacrifice the queen. I have calculated this variation for quite a lot of time because in the end of the day I get here a rook and 2 pieces for the queen, but my problem is I haven't finished my development. If you can imagine here e3, bishop e2 and castles, of course I would be happy with this position. But here I felt so, and the engine confirms I'm just not in time to do that, and black is in time to create some threats against the king. For example, here e3, you just play c5, preparing the move queen to a5, check, and the king is not in time to get to safety. And so I had a bad feeling about this variation. What I did is I just played bishop to d2 passively. Maybe bishop g5 was a little bit better, but still it satisfies the goal of preventing the move bishop to b4, or at least making it not such a strong one, because he still played it, but queen c2 takes, and I thought, okay, we have exchanged a pair of bishops, a pair of knights, nothing special has happened, and the most important thing, it's round number 1, my first World Chess Championship in life, so I need to be solid. I just want to get a good game. I was so nervous, obviously. That was very funny, by the way. We have all arrived with our team. I have played for the German YAS team, and we have been all there waiting for our opponents, and the entire team of our opponents, the Indian team, was not there. And we were very shocked. It was like 3 minutes after the start of the round, and still nobody was there. And eventually they come, having a little disadvantage in terms of time. So yeah, here I just wanted to make sure that I don't blunder anything, and I thought, well, you have still your bishop in c8. It's very passive, and that's my advantage. That is why I thought it would be still better for me. But what happened here is a move e5, and I was the whole position immediately blown up. So I took on e5 because, of course, the d4 pawn was hanging. Knight takes e5, and now I played queen to c3. A very clever move here, at least I hope so, because, well, the queen is attacking not only the knight, but the pawn on g7 behind it, and black, well, it's not that convenient to deal with this threat, because if you play queen d6, which obviously I was calculating, then I thought, even if I just take the pawn on d5, I'm just winning the tempo here. Queen takes d5, you have the c7 pawn hanging, rook d1 was on my agenda just to, you know, develop as many pieces as possible, maybe create a threat of knight c4, and seems like it's a much better position for white. And if you step back with a knight, obviously I'm gonna take the g7 pawn, not allowing you to castle, and you're once again in trouble. So Nihal played here the move f6. And here I had a choice between a few moves that seem nice for me, so please try to pause the video for a second and find the best move for white to continue. That's a very instructive moment here. So what I did here is took on d5 with an idea after queen d5, and that is what happened. I played rook to d1, just trying to have this rook against the queen, but the right thing was to start with the move rook to d1. And the difference is pretty big, because here the position is more pleasant. I thought here black can play c6, but then yeah, it's not that great. You have this isolated pawn, and at the end of the day, we can just exchange the bishops on d7. And yeah, the knight on d2 is a little bit weird, but there is no way for black to somehow deal with this isolated pawn, and so that's a long-term advantage for white. Very pleasant position to play. But back to the game, what I did is also fine, but here black is a little bit more active. That gives some additional opportunities for black. So queens to c6, for example, is one of those opportunities. And now, yeah, once again, seems like the position is closer to equality than to white's advantage, because the pawn structure is pretty solid for both sides, no real weaknesses, except maybe for the c file, which is a little bit vulnerable for black. So I tried to use it immediately. I played the move bishop to b5, pinning the knight, and well, bishop d7 is more or less forced, because otherwise it's very uncomfortable for black. And knight b3, well, I just want to activate my knight, also my rook is now opened, and I don't really want to make castles. I just want to have my king on e2, if there is no danger, of course, for me. So that is basically what happened. He played knight e5, because otherwise knight c5 is quite a big threat. So takes, and now king to e2. So basically, what I want to do is to double my rooks along the d file. Remember, I was incredibly nervous. I was playing against around 2700 rated player. That is the first time experience like that in my entire chess career. I mean, at least in person, because online, obviously, I have played against Hikaru and other very, very strong players, against Ferrugia. But in person, it's completely different experience. So I wanted to remain as solid as possible. I don't have any weaknesses, so I thought I'm doing well here. I just need to stay solid. So rook d2, c5. I mean, that felt quite weird for me, but obviously he wants to attack, he wants still to win the game, so he tries to be as active as possible. And my idea is the same, to activate all of my pieces. That is the principle that I teach in all of my videos. Hopefully you have learned it, guys, because it's so important. It doesn't matter whether you're playing against, I don't know, 1500 ELO rated player or against one of the best players in the world. You still need to follow those basic principles, like developing all of your pieces, like making sure that your king is safe. And so here I was very happy with achieving all of those goals. So rook d8 has been played. Now rook d5, well, I just want to attack this weak pawn, why not? b6, and now f4. I wanted to make sure that this knight doesn't really have this outpost on e5 in the center of the board. So my opponent played a4 and knight d2. I'm just preparing the move knight c4, where the knight would be very good attacking the weakness on b6, and if you play b5, then you get another weak pawn on c5. So feels like I'm in the driver's seat, and the engine step by step gives me some part of the advantage. So now knight c4, takes, and rook b8. And here is a key moment in the game, because, well, I didn't really have that much time left, and so I played knight a3. I thought that I want to control everything with the move knight to b5. Then basically I thought black doesn't really have any active ideas, and also I have this road for the king. And so what happened here, black played rook a8. I wanted to repeat the moves once first to see what's gonna happen. That would save me some time, and I'm gonna see whether Nihal is trying to win the game or not. And he was, yeah, trying to find some moves, but realized that he has nothing better than just going back. So I repeated it for the second time, and here was a key moment for me. Like, I have around 2 minutes on the clock. Remember, we have the time control is 15 minutes plus 10 seconds, so I have 10 seconds increment after each move. And I want to secure a good result from one side, but on the other side, of course, the win would be even better. So I'm trying to calculate the variations here, but there is nothing clear. Like, the engine says it's +1, but there is no certain variation that gives me an extra pawn, for example, and then of course I can play it forever. It's rather, I have this activity, I have the initiative, but there is no guarantee it's gonna be there for me in, let's say, 5 moves. So the right variation was here, either knight to b5 or king to d3, and king to d3 was my plan, so let's take a look at it. Knight e7, and now knight c7, knight e6, sorry, and now knight c7 is on black's agenda, so knight b5 is the move, and then after rook a5, which was the idea behind the move rook a8, at least I suppose so, I have the move king to c4. Now the whole structure seems to be a little bit weird, but everything's under control. And so white has a very significant advantage here. According to the engine, it's just +2 here, and black doesn't really have any chances at all. Of course, you should be careful not to blunder something like rook to d6, because then after rook b5, well, even that is not clear, because you take the knight, king takes, and God knows what's going to happen. Both sides are going to try to take some pawns. But in general, it's clear that white is much more active in this position. Yeah, but as I said, first round, I'm very nervous. I wanted to secure a good result, so I decided not to play with the destiny, because so often in my chess career, I had the situation when I wanted to play for a win. Like, I always want to play for a win. I never agree to a draw. I never propose a draw, like normally. So often I had the situation when I did go for a win, and then I lost completely, and then I thought, well, for this first round, I want a good result, so let me play knight c4, repeat the position for the third time. He wanted to play b5 for quite a long time, and then that would be a completely new story. But then he thought, no, the position is worse for me, probably I'm gonna lose one of the pawns, so he played rook b8, and we agreed to a draw here. Overall, the Indian team was, of course, way stronger than ours. There was Arjun Erigaisi besides Nihal Sarin there, so they just crushed us with 5-1 overall. But, well, I was very happy with this result, and that was a good start of the tournament for me. And that was only round number 1 of this exciting event. So much more has happened, and I'm about to share all of it with you. So subscribe to the channel, like the video to support me, so I see that you like the content I create for you. Hopefully it's also very instructive, because I'm trying to explain everything from a logical point of view, from a player's perspective. Like, when I sit there playing against those superstars, what goes through my head? You can see that we're all human beings, we're all very nervous. So yeah, just hope to see you again in the next videos, of course. That was round number 1, and in the very last round, I have played against Fabiano Caruana. That was so incredible experience, so stay tuned not to miss it.